Welcome back. On that truckies business, Nick Leggett is going to be with us after 6 o'clock. If you heard him on Monday when this news was first announced, he was incensed. So he will be stoked that this rule has been changed and they've got a little bit more time to be able to enforce it. Also, the Huddle's going to be with us very shortly. Very good news out of New South Wales, because of course there's going to be a lot of research that's coming out of that place at the minute. Kids don't appear to be all that badly affected when it comes to the Delta. So I know a lot of people are freaked out a little bit because there are some kids affected this time rather than in previous cases with the OG COVID. But it turns out while the kids are affected, most of the kids, the vast majority of them, have mild to no symptoms in New South Wales. Only 2% of them end up in hospital. And even better news, this is for you parents sending your kids back to school in level 2. It appears that most of the transmission of COVID, passing it on from person to person, happens amongst adults. Doesn't happen amongst the kids for some reason. So there's a little bit of something to take heart from. Heather, the reason we don't particularly like Aucklanders is that you people up there voted in this incompetent lot of politicians that are destroying our economy. That's from Rod. Well, Rod, I think if you look around the country, you'll find so did you. News Talk ZB. You've got to wonder about the government's priorities, though. The government is refusing currently to give residency to highly skilled migrants like doctors and nurses who are now so frustrated they're actually leaving the country and going home. But it turns out that Associate Immigration Minister Phil Twyford gave residence visas to 3 people with 10 convictions between them. Phil Twyford, no surprise, was not available for an interview today, but National Party immigration spokesperson Erica Stanford is with us now. Hey, Erica.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Well, I'm shocked. I'm actually gobsmacked by the priorities here. Are you?
Yes, I am. Look, I wouldn't have been in normal circumstances because, look, sometimes there are extenuating circumstances as to why a minister would grant residence to someone with a conviction. I don't know the details of this, but what really stings is the fact that there are people who are like doctors and nurses who have been trying to stay in this country and get residence that he himself, Phil Twyford, has declined to intervene on and they've left.
Are you? Yeah, and exactly. Are you talking about the Welsh doctor who was in Otaki, whose boss wrote to Phil Twyford and said, please help this guy get residency, otherwise we're losing him? And Phil Twyford wrote back and said, nah.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I know that the local MP on the 14th of June also wrote to Phil Twyford to try and lobby him to get this doctor to stay, and he refused to intervene. So the priorities of this government, when we're in the middle of a global pandemic and we need professional doctors and nurses to stay in New Zealand, he's giving residence to someone who's got a drink driving conviction or multiple drink driving convictions over the doctor who serves the Otaki community, who, by the way, now have a 3-week or 4-week wait to see a GP. It's just beyond belief.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, what is going on here, Erica, is that we are waiting. So they stopped all of these residency applications and stopped giving residency in, April last year. We're waiting for Farfoi. Apparently he's made a decision on what to do next. Do you have any idea when we're going to get this announcement?
Look, I've heard through sort of my circles that it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. But in saying that, he's been talking about a decision coming for months and months now, and a decision is imminent. So I don't know whether to believe him or not. But look, hopefully what he's going to do is pick up National's plan to fast-track residence for those who are eligible for residence and just get that process done in the next 6 months, and then invite all of those other workers who can't quite get residence, those essential skills workers, I'm talking about truck drivers, dairy farm workers, aged care nurses, and give them residence as well so they don't leave.
Yeah, here's hoping that they do that. Erica, thanks so much. Erica Stanford, National Party immigration spokesperson.
New Zealand's best cricket podcast, On the Front Foot. Join the voice of cricket, Brian Waddle, alongside former New Zealand cricket captain Jeremy Coney, as they discuss and dissect all the latest news from the cricketing world. On the Front Foot. Listen and follow on iHeartRadio. News Talk ZB.